Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary from an old replay, and this is none other than Jaedong. It's going to be the teal Zerg player up in the top left-hand corner of the map, Circuit Breaker, and he's going to be playing against Bisu, as the white Protoss player in the top right-hand corner of your screen of the map. This is going to be amazing. This is again a replay from a pack that I found from I think 2012-ish. Not exactly sure when this is from, but this is an old replay, so it should be fun. But man, always fun to catch a matchup like this. Jaedong versus Bisu, the best Zerg player to have ever lived versus one of the best Protoss players to have ever lived. I don't think you could, it would be difficult to make a definitive argument that Bisu was the absolute best. Although it would also be difficult to make an argument that best was the absolute best, even though it's literally his name. Anyway, he could have been the best. He's definitely like one of the top few. But it's hard to say. And actually, it's even harder to say in, the modern era when we've got these new Protoss players or older Protoss players who are now ranking in the top ranks like Snow and that kind of thing in the ASL, so it's a little bit harder to make that judgment. But definitely in the old days, there was a period where Bisu was the best Protoss that had ever lived, and then he became challenged a little bit by Stork and Jongbi. Jongbi, I think, would have a definite claim on that title. Anyway, we got a fast expansion here from Jaedong. Pretty standard stuff all around. We got a Forge expansion coming from Bisu, who kind of perfected, not invented, but perfected a certain kind of Forge expand that became kind of the standard for a long time, and variants of it are still standard to this day. Although in 2020, we see a lot more Gateway expansions than Forge expansions, or not than, but in addition to. In 2010. You would almost never see a PVZ that was not a Forge expansion, and nowadays it's a little bit less common. So, but in any case, we're about to get this stuff underway. We got, it's gonna take a little bit of time for this to get moving, I guess. We're gonna have the gateway go down. We're gonna have a cannon here eventually, and he's in the base. He's scouting, so he sees that there's no Zerglings right now, so there's no reason to put down a cannon yet, so he's just kind of biding his time a little bit. In any case, while this game heats up, I want to give you one quick reminder that next Friday, at the time of this upload, I believe, I should be able to upload this today, which I think today is a Friday that I'm going to record and upload this, but next Friday on the 20th is our live cast of the 2004 EVER OSL Finals. It's going to be a blast. If you haven't been keeping up with it, then that's perfectly okay. But if you want to show up to the finals, it'll be a really awesome time. In case you are keeping up with the matches and you don't want me to spoil, I won't say who it is, but it's going to be a fantastic match. It's going to be really cool, and it's going to be kind of like the old days where we all get to sit around the campfire and tell ghost stories about the boogeyman of StarCraft. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway. Point being, it'll be fun to watch some games together, and we're gonna do the live cast. So I will put some links down and below if you want for the. I guess I'll put a link to the video where I described it, and then if you want more info, you can just go watch that video. So, but now hopefully this game will start heating up soon. Jaedong pressing his luck a little bit by just making drones. He made 2 Zerglings, but again, this is pretty standard versus Bisu. Bisu's not gonna be making a lot of zealots or anything like that. Again, in 2020, I feel like that will be normal, actually, to get a lot of zealots early on. It's even after you Forge expand and go for some early pressure. That's not the way Bisu does things back in these old days. He does this Forge expand in order to protect himself with the bare minimum necessary to survive against an attack, and then tries to tech up. So both players are basically doing exactly that. They're teching up off of as little as possible. We do have Jaedong having his 3rd base down here, by the way. now up and running. He's spreading these Zerglings kind of out on the map. He's only made 4 Zerglings, I think, this entire time. So he's just really, really, really pressing hard to make sure that he can squeeze every drone possible out of his economy. And actually he has, okay, so we've had a couple more Zerglings. Never mind. Okay, there's more Zerglings on the map. He has made several more now. But at first he only made 2 Zerglings initially to try and deal with the probe scout. And then 2 more Zerglings a little bit after that. He's made so many drones. His economy is going to be ridiculous. But again, at the same time, over on this map, Bisu has made nothing but probes and tech. And, you know, a few other buildings. So he's also going to be in really good shape. We've got the +1 weapons. Starting, well, not late, but it's starting later than it would be if going for like some kind of an early push or something like that. So probably not going to see a push. And did he just let Jaedong in his door? He did. And these Zerglings are going to work on that cannon. They do kill it off very quickly. And now Bisu has to worry about several Zerglings in his main. That was a bit of a mistake. He's been running around, by the way, with these Corsairs, doing some damage, killing Overlords and what have you. But the counterpunch of these Zerglings is really, really bad. Actually, he cleans up most of the Zerglings pretty well. We've got a couple kills on these Zerglings, but not too many. But I'm actually a little bit surprised that Bisu made that mistake. It was just a moment's time. He pushed out to try and just taunt those Zerglings, and the Zerglings said, bet. You know, F around and find out. And they just actually just went right in. Ooh, this is cute. He's going to park these. Oh, no, he's going to have to actually go after the Corsair. He takes out one of the Corsairs, which leaves only 1 Corsair that I'm seeing on the map right now. So Bisu taking some early disadvantages here. He's had to rebuild a cannon. He's lost a few probes. And just, again, do a little bit of carelessness. Is he going to produce cannons here? Yeah, he has to produce cannons here because he doesn't know if Jaedong is going to switch up and make a bunch of Mutalisks, is what's kind of the concern here. We do have the Hydralisk Den, and hold that thought. Some Zealots are pushing across the map. They do not have +1 weapons yet, but they will momentarily. He's actually going in just at the cusp of +1 finishing. So it's a late timing, but it is a timing attack nonetheless. Now they have +1 weapons upgraded, so they're going to be able to do pretty good damage against these Zerglings who have no armor. No carapace, I should say. Coming down here to this 3rd base, he pokes into the natural, sees he can't really get in there. He's going to come down here, poke into the 3rd, sees that he can't get anything done there either, and is going to retreat, and nicely done. He's going to actually cancel that extra colony. If Bisu had actually gone in for an attack, he would have probably needed that extra sunken colony to be morphing just in case. But seeing the attack retreating, he's gonna say, okay, well, I spooked you out of it. I'm gonna go ahead and, is this 2 Scourge? It is 2 Scourge. For some reason it looked like 1. And he's actually gonna go back into the natural though. He's gonna try and run by. Jaedong with beautiful reaction is actually gonna put his drones in the way to force these Zealots to fight the Sunkens, but there is only 1 Sunken. No Zerglings, no Hydras, no Mutas to back up these Sunkens. So after that Sunk goes down, Bisu just gets to have free damage. Another is morphing in, but it's a little bit late. And so free damage being done by Bisu kills off a few drones. The Zerglings do come in to the rescue, but it's gonna barely be enough to clean up these Zealots. But it might take some time, and it might take some drones dying in the meantime. There's 1, and it looks like he's just gonna get the 1 more. So Bisu taking out a few drones here, but look at the drone count. We've got 38 drones, a sizable chunk of drones, 46 probes. But here's the thing, you know, doesn't matter how many probes you have. The amount of mineral patches is a limiting factor, right? And ooh, this is interesting. Bisu has actually rebuilt some Corsairs. Or I should say, continued building Corsairs. So he actually has developed a Corsair army, and with this Archon as well, that means that it's really not a good plan for Jaedong to go for Mutalisks right now. He has a lot of Zerglings on the map. They're kind of being chased away here. But what I was going to say is that, you know, he's only got 2 bases worth of mineral patches, whereas Jaedong has 4 bases. 4 bases on the map. So even though he has less drones mining them, well, actually, he does he doesn't even have a single drone for every mineral patch in his main. So maybe that is, maybe Bisu does have a slightly better economy at the moment. It's hard to say. The drone count catching up, though, means that now they have even worker count. It means they're going to be a better economy for Jaedong for sure. So Bisu has to kind of try and catch up, and that's exactly what he's doing, trying to take this new base over here at the left side of his main, or just outside of his natural. a little bit of a dangerous position. He has to be kind of try and guard against here, but also be worried about guarding against his natural as well. And Jaedong is continuing to produce these Scourge. He has not given up on taking out the Corsairs, which are now up to 6, 7 Corsairs. And that is at the point, 8, because there's one over here as well. They do have the +1 weapons as well. So this is the number of Corsairs that you need with +1 weapons where you can easily just hold position. And if Scourge are not choreographed perfectly, you know, if they are not choreographed like a gold medal winning synchronized swimming competition, something or other, then, whoa, both players not really realizing what danger they were in there. Jaedong not taking the opportunity to attack them. I think those Scourge were on move command instead of attack move, and this is actually pretty dangerous. Is he going to be able to narrow in on these Corsairs? He can't quite get away. He lands 1 Scourge, and that is it. That is it. Just the 1 Scourge, and he's not able to take them out. A little bit of a missed opportunity. It looked like the Corsairs were on move command as well, and he had a chance to kill several of them, but his Scourge were on move command too. But in any case, he's using the Scourge to cover the air so the Corsairs cannot come in here and do damage to his overlords during this attack. But this attack has a lot of stuff going on the ground. Zerglings are going to come in from the side, but the Zealots have killed off all of the static defenses right now. What is Jaedong going to be able to do this? He's making Zerglings and Lurkers, but where are they? Hydralisks are popping out as well. He's streaming in units from different directions, but this might be the end for Jaedong if he loses this base. It looks like his production is just too strong. More Zealots are coming in from the side, and there's those Corsairs, which there's now up to 11 Corsairs. 11 Corsairs, and I didn't actually catch it on the screen, but it looks like while this battle was going on at the natural, there was an engagement, and all those Scourge died trying to attack the Corsairs because I don't see them anywhere on the map right now. So, huge advantage for Bisu now. He can actually just slaughter these overlords. Is Jaedong just going to die right now? He's supply blocked. He cannot make any more units. He has to clean this up with just the units that he has in play right now. He's going to be supply blocked for a little while. He's producing overlords, but in the meantime, he has to wait for them to pop out before he can produce anything else. And as soon as those overlords pop, the Corsairs are going to come back in and kill them. Where are the Corsairs, actually? I'm not exactly sure where they went. They went back home for some reason. I guess they don't like free kills. So, anyway, it looks like Jaedong is going to clean this up. Just barely. He's lost a lot of stuff, though. Critically, he has not lost a ton of drones. He was able to save a number of his drones and protected his natural expansion as well. Half health on a couple hatcheries, and these guys are just doing target practice, I guess, with their side blades, just attacking uselessly against these Lurkers. And then they're going to have to retreat. So the Corsairs are back out on the map, out on the prowl, looking for overlords. When you've got 11 Corsairs, there is nothing that your opponent can do about it as far as the air goes. You have to use Hydralisks to try and attack them. But even if you have Hydralisks, you need, like, you know, a couple dozen Hydralisks to protect your overlords, basically. See, look at that. I just caught the end of it, unfortunately. Sorry about missing that little interaction. But you can see how the Corsairs were just able to stand still, and the Scourge never even got close to them because their damage total is just so much. And the AoE is so strong that it doesn't matter how many Scourge there are if they're clumped up. And what I was saying about choreography before is that they need to attack from different sides so that the AoE doesn't quite function in the same way. Jaedong going for a little bit of a counterattack, trying to stop this 4th base from coming up, but Bisu is holding it. Bisu is in a really commanding position right now. He's managed to take out a lot of the mining at the 2nd base. He's managed to establish fully. This 3rd base has not been harassed at all. It is a mineral-only base, but that's not too big of a deal. If he can establish this 4th base and keep it up and running, that is going to be a huge thing. But is he going to be able to? The cannons are not quite warped in yet as the Zerglings stream in, but the reinforcing Zealots are going to come in and probably clean this up. They're going to get the cannons. He's going to have to rebuild them. As long as the probe stays alive, he can do that. And more Zerglings coming in to reinforce, but they're a little bit too late. And now that this ramp is held, those Zerglings are not... Well, are they going to be able to get through just by sheer force of will? And force of numbers, of course. It looks like they are... Nope, the reinforcing Zealots are going to take that place again as well. So Jaedong... looks like he's... Look at this. Free observer kills. Where's he going? Okay, that was a little bit weird. The Scourge kind of had a little bit of a glitch there. They were targeted right on there, and then they stopped, ran around in a circle, and then went after the observers. In any case, so Bisu takes this 4th base. He holds it. I think he's in a commanding position right now. These Corsairs are doing significant damage to the overlord count, and it looks like I need to stay on top of my mini-map awareness a little bit more. I was looking at dead observers instead of up here, and it looks like we do have a storm drop that happened in the natural expansion, I'm sorry, in the main, that killed a number of drones, but Jaedong's still at 52 drones right now. He's still in a really strong position economically, and oh, did we just hear the Templar's still there. It's at 40 energy. It can't do anything. It doesn't have enough energy to actually storm. In the meantime, Jaedong has not given up on trying to kill off this 4th base, although maybe he should. If he's going to, he's going to need something else than just running a bunch of Zerglings across the map. Zerglings coming in here trying to pick off High Templar. It's a very strong move if you can pick them off. He obviously can't use Mutalisks because the Corsair count is just way, way too strong. And so he needs to try and do something to pick off those Templar. If Bisu gets a sizable count of Templar with a lot of energy stored up, then there just won't be much that Jaedong can do about it. He'll just try and run in there and everything will get stormed to all heck. He's going to try and go in again, try and do a storm drop. I don't know if he has the energy still. That Templar was only at 40 energy before. He may have the energy, but these Hydralisks are right in position for that. He's going to have to go for another target, and he is swinging down south for another target. This is going to be beautiful. He's going to come in and go for a storm drop while Bisu is distracted by an attack at the front. Again, Jaedong's going to be in trouble here. No, maybe he's not going to be in trouble. Just a couple lurkers there on the right, in the right spots are going to be enough. And here comes this storm drop. He drops out. He does the storm. He gets a few drones. Not too many. Not too bad, though. And now Bisu posturing up in the north again. Defilers are out. Do they have Consume? Can he get a Dark Swarm down? Actually, it doesn't even matter. Dark Swarm doesn't do anything against Zealots and Storm. If he had a Plague, that might be a good thing to do. Oh, he storms the Nidus Canal, killing the units as they pop out to reinforce. Is this going to be the end of Jaedong? I know I've said that a couple times, but this looks really grim for Jaedong right now. He does not have anything to deal with these massive amounts of Zealots. He's going to be trying to run a lot of Zerglings across the map. The Nidus Canal is done for, but he really needs a bunch of lurkers right now. Planting down a swarm is going to do a tiny, tiny amount against the extra damage of the Archon, but the Zealots are the bulk of the force here, and it looks like Jaedong has held it once again, just by sheer force of numbers of cracklings. They are +2 upgraded, and they do have the adrenaline upgrade as well, so they're really, really, really strong. But wow, Jaedong actually holds that off. I'm again surprised that he was able to manage to by throwing meat at the Zealots, just throwing walls and walls of Zerglings at them, was able to winnow them down barely. Do we have the Plague upgrade? The Plague is a half upgraded right now, so it's not going to be a factor just yet. Oh, do we hear? Oh, we got another. This Templar is still in that. I keep missing it, but he dropped that Templar out for another little storm drop. I'd be really curious to see what the kill count is on that High Templar, if we can ever spot it outside of the shuttle. I'm gonna guess it's probably about 15 at this point. Through a few different storm drops. It's just been chilling in that shuttle, been protected by this massive Corsair army. You know, he's got control of the air with the Corsairs. Why not get all Zealots on the ground? You know, all Zealots for your ground forces, and then just go use your extra gas on these Templar and Archons, which are going to do the most damage for your gas buck. So, very significant position for Bisu. It's going to be really hard for Jaedong to hold this off. He's got a max supply army for Bisu. Jaedong only has 120 supply. However, oh, nice storm on those lurkers. They are going to run out of it, though. However, the one thing that Zers can do is they can turtle pretty well. And, oh, nice Plague on a lot of Corsairs. He's got some lurkers over here as well. He's going to retreat to this high ground. And it looks like this is probably going to end in Jaedong's favor, this tiny little skirmish with a few Zealots. But a Plague on a lot of these Corsairs means... Oh, and he finally gets that shuttle. What's the kill count? 6 kills on that Templar? That's it? Okay, now up to 11. Okay. There may have been 2 Templar in it before, so we might have seen a different Templar get the kills on the main base earlier. And I guess he just wants to let this Templar live. Come on, just one Zergling. Send one Zergling after it. Hold that thought. Another attack going on over here. And the Lurkers are underneath the Darkstorm, but they do get killed off. And by the way, Archons still do their splash damage even under Swarm. So they are not doing full damage, but they're doing some damage. Jaedong trying to desperately save this base. It's going to go down, but he still wants to at least take out this small army at the very least. What is the Corsair count down to? Only 6 Corsairs, and they have been plagued. So he's actually been able to take out those Corsairs, and Plague was the trick that he needed to do it. Now he's running in with another Dark Swarm and some Lurkers here. 2 of the Lurkers, no, just one of the Lurkers is going to get stormed to death. The other 2 are going to stay alive. There's a Hydralisk underneath here as well. So they are going to take this out. The Zealots are going to come in here in time to kill them before the Nexus goes down, though, is what it looks like. But Jaedong is not done yet, though. He's got another huge army swooping in here. He really wants to take this base out. The Zealots have all been plagued, or most of them have, so they're going to be able to be at half fighting force, but a nice chunk of Archons are marching into this location. They are going to be potentially the ones to seal the deal in Bisu's favor in this battle. Are they going to be able to do it, though? There's a nice clump here of Lurkers doing focus fire, and he doesn't have the Storm right now to actually kill off those Lurkers. So clumping up your Lurkers is usually bad because they can get stormed to death. But if there's no Storm, then they're absolutely the best thing that you can do to clump them up so they can focus their damage and kill things quickly. He's still got these 6 Corsairs, almost none of them with any hit points. But Jaedong is not done yet. He's actually going for this bottom right expansion. It gets canceled. He sees them running down here and actually just cancels it, knowing that those Zerglings were going to kill it anyway. So he can try and hide that probe. But here's the thing. Jaedong still has his 4 bases. He's still barely mining at his main, so he still has a decent economy going on right now. And the fact that he lost all those probes up here means that Bisu is actually not in a very good place economically. He's mined out his main and his natural, and hold that thought about the economy because there's a battle starting up right now. A Dark Swarm has gone down. Lurkers trying to come in for the flank, get stormed. A nice plague on all these units, but there's Reavers in play now, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to be a major, major boon to this push. They're going to get picked up into that shuttle and protected because just Jaedong has been producing all Lurkers. He hasn't really been producing much anti-air, no mass Hydralisks or anything like that. And so it's going to be difficult for him to deal with these Reavers. And it looks like Jaedong, trying to hold this 6th or 7th base, I guess, is in a little bit of trouble. He brings in a ton of Lurkers, though. They are Stormbait, massive Stormbait if they don't spread out. He does spread out a significant amount, though. A really, really nice formation just on the spot for Jaedong. And the massive amount of Zealots means that these Lurkers are going to be the exact counter and are going to stop him from doing this. Corsairs are coming in to join the battle to kill off these Overlords. So he cannot kill the Observers. But I think it's just too many Lurkers. So many Lurkers right here. But the Observer is key. Where did the Observer go? There is an Observer in play. He needs that Observer in order to kill off these Lurkers with the Reavers. And that's why we saw Jaedong go in and try and kill off the Observers. And that's why we see these Corsairs come in here desperately. Can he take out those Corsairs? Oh, he takes out the Observer before the Corsairs can drive off the Overlord. He even loses a couple of Corsairs in the process. This is looking like that might be turning in Jaedong's favor, actually, because Bisu, who had a maxed out army against a 120 supply Jaedong, is now 120 supply against an almost 120 supply Jaedong. So things are not looking good for Bisu at all. I think he had his moment, and he might have lost it now. What I was trying to say earlier is that, you know, Zerg players are just able to turtle so well with Lurkers and Dark Swarm that even if they're at lower supply, they can still hold out and take an advantage in the game. And he's trying to push it on this last base again. Bisu needs this base. Right now he's only mining at 1 base. He needs to keep this up and running if he's going to have a chance in this game in the long run, in the economic game. He also needs to take out these other side bases. Jaedong has this other side base up and running again. This Dark Templar is going to try and sneak here and do some damage, but Hydralisks with an Overlord are going to be able to stop that from happening for too much. It looks like he's going to get a couple kills, though. Not too much going on there. But Bisu needs to he needs to keep this base, but he really needs to actually do some damage to these other bases as well. This one is a new one that's up and coming. Actually, it looked like Jaedong was trying to take this base, and he has not taken it after all, so that is something that Bisu was able to accomplish there. as to keep that from going up. This game has been so crazy with stuff going back and forth. It's been really hard to keep track of everything going on around the map. He has another observer in play. It's been plagued, so he can actually target it right now. Just a couple shots from those Hydralisks is all it takes, but he's going after the units underneath the Dark Swarm instead with those Hydras. He's not targeting the observers. He finally gets it, but 2 more observers come into play, so Bisu does have the vision, so he can actually attack these lurkers. And, oh, nice play. Nice little play, not plague. Storm on those incoming units. Is Jaedong going to be able to push in here and actually take this out? There's Dragoons in play right now, which are going to be able to deal with these lurkers pretty well. But he takes out, he just suicides in the Hydras and takes out the observers. He needs to make more observers right now. He's continuing to produce them off of 1 robotics facility, but it's not quite enough here. He needs to be producing Reavers and observers and potentially shuttles as well, and he can't do that off of just 1 robo. It's all down to this battle right here. Jaedong is not trying to take any extra bases right now. He's just trying to kill this base of Bisu's. If he can take it out, Bisu will be crippled beyond repair. Is he going to be able to do it? Look at this. He's got Overlords in play with the Scourge as well to try and kill any observers that are going to come in here to try and stop him, to stop these lurkers. Where is the observer? He needs to kill off. And there's the GG as he loses that base. GG is called by Bisu, and Jaedong is going to take the game. Beautiful, beautiful play by Jaedong. I thought he was in trouble a few different times. What a strong, scrappy player. Look at this. Even at the end of the game, only 50 drones. You know, I mean, that's kind of normal for a Zerg player, but well, I guess he'd mined out a few of these bases, so that's probably why he only had 50 drones as well. It wasn't droning up on any extra bases. But point being, he was kind of barely mining from this as well, and starting to mine on this one as well. So not the strongest economy, fighting a little bit scrappy the entire time. Remember, he almost lost his natural to a group of zealots at one point in time. There was actually a little bit of a spook where Bisu, I think, could have gone in and done some major damage here, but he didn't. He fell back and went after the natural again. There was a couple times when Jaedong was just like almost dead, and he just barely had enough production that, you know, he was able to stream units from across the map into his natural and somehow just built enough Zerglings to kill off the Zealots. And you know what? It might have been a factor of upgrades as well. I wasn't keeping track of, you know, what upgrades were in play during those attacks. So, you know, if Jaedong had an upgrade advantage, that might have been part of the reason why he was able to do that with just running in Zerglings kind of piecemeal. But anyway, GG, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this nice epic PvZ macro game between 2 absolute legends. You know, the man who revolutionized PvZ versus the man who revolutionized Zerg in general, and you know, really was just such a strong Zerg player. And you know what? I was talking earlier about how he was the strongest Zerg ever. And again, you know, I kind of classified a little bit with, you couldn't quite say that about Protoss because of the modern day players, but you know what? I don't know if you could say that about the modern day Zerg players as well. You know, is it possible that some of these, that, you know, Zero has developed to a point where he's better than Jaedong was? Is it possible that you know, someone like Larva or any of these other new Zergs that are doing well in the ASL are you know, on Jaedong's level or pushing it? I know that, you know, Artosis and Tasteless talk about that in the ASL a little bit, how there's kind of like, it seems like the way that Zerg is played is being pushed once again to a new level. So it's interesting to think about. But Jaedong's in the military now, so we will not know. You know, we won't be able to see him continue to play and face off against these players. But in any case, yeah, again, reminder that we got our live OSL finals next week. Speaking of things being pushed to a new level, we're going to go back a few levels. We're going to play the early levels a little bit and show what it was like back in 2004 in the grand finals of the OSL, and that'll be fun too. Even though the meta has advanced since then, it'll be really awesome to see 2 awesome players duking it out in a grand finals. All right, that'll do it, I guess, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG.